December 25th came Brumalia, otherwise called Dies Natalis Invicti Solis, or the birthday of the unconquered sun. This is when the days begin to lengthen after the solstice. So you see there's interchange of presents. That it all rings very true of what kind of we see today. There's numerous winter solstice practices involving gift giving, riotous drinking, decorated trees. The child sacrifice rituals are practiced throughout pagan Europe. From tree decorated in Germany to Thor pulling the magical sleigh across the sky in Scandinavia. Most of the Christmas traditions we are familiar with today share these same roots with King Nimrod, really, is where it all started. Then around 2,000 years ago, the world was changed forever. The one in which Moses spoke of, the Son of the living God, the Messiah, he was born in the town of Bethlehem in the land of Israel. Interestingly, this new Messiah was the only one whose date of birth was uniquely separate from all the other pagan messiahs before him. Most historical and scriptural evidence suggests that he was actually born during the Feast of Sukkot, or the Feast of Tabernacles, when the Word was made flesh and tabernacled, or in the Greek, dwelt among us. That actually puts the birth of the Jewish Messiah, commonly known as Jesus of Nazareth, in the month of Tishri, which would be Septemberish, totally separate from the December 25th sun god birth dates. The apostles in the early Christian church, they abstained from adulterating themselves against their God by participating in these ancient Babylonian sun god festivities. In their scriptures, their God had clearly warned them that doing such actions, in his name especially, were really an abomination to him. Look up the word abomination. The early church had no desire really to adopt the ancient December 25th sun god rituals, as it was very content in enjoying its own feast days, which their scriptures instructed them to keep. Their Messiah had demonstrated and explained the meanings of which throughout his ministry. It wasn't even until nearly 300 years later that Christianity even touched the Christmas idea. Oh, yep, Constantine, one of the most interesting historical figures. The Roman Emperor Constantine the Great, he converted to Christianity following his battle at Milvian Bridge in 312. The next year, Constantine issued the Edict of Milan, declaring the entire Roman Empire to be Christian. Despite his decrees, really, Constantine himself was a loyal follower of the new popular Roman soldiers cult from Persia, Mithraism. Mithraism is, it's like many of the other Babylonian sun worship religions. They regularly grow by absorbing and mixing in with the new popular religions as they come along. When the Mithraic priests in Rome were converted to Christians at the stroke of Constantine's pen, they naturally modified their Mithraic religion to adapt to the Rome's new Christian denomination. Many of the old Roman gods were just given like new Christian names, although a majority of the Mithraic religious practices and traditions actually remained completely intact. Constantine, although he's Christian in name, he was really a follower of Mithra until the day he died. You can find bronze coins inscribed "Sol Invictus Mithra." They're minted by Saint Constantine between the 313 and 326. After his supposed Christian conversion in 312, Saint Constantine later died in 337. Mithra, the god of Mithraism, his birth, as were all the other Babylonian sun gods, was celebrated on December 25th. But with the new Christian denomination for the Roman Empire, the feast of Sol Invictus Mithra was then celebrated in honor of the new Christ. So they just switched it from Mithra to Christ, just the name. The first mention of December 25th is being celebrated as the date of Jesus' birth is found, I think, in early Roman calendars from 336. Judging by Constantine's edicts, he seemed to kind of favor Mithraism more than he seemed to favor the Christian church in a lot of ways. By his laws, he issued a lot of really strict edicts banning all the Hebrew feasts and weekly Sabbaths, which Jesus and his apostles and the early church had all kept. But anyone who went against Constantine's edicts and tried to do any of these things which they sounded Jewish, they suffered greatly, sometimes under penalty of death. Soon thereafter, the removal of the Hebrew scriptures from the hands of the lay people, which the Hebrew scriptures strictly prohibit the practice of paganism in the face of God, especially. I mean, just removing the scriptures helped to quell any opposition to the melding of paganism with Christianity that took place later on. Christmas was celebrated pretty much after that as the birth of Jesus by most of the church for a long time, pretty much until the reintroduction of the scriptures in the native tongues during the Reformation. Christmas before the late 1800s was really wild. I mean, you had violence and drunkenness, rioting, widespread orgies, pretty much echo to the holiday's ancient pagan roots. There were even times the midwinter bash got so out of control that Christmas in many cases was totally banned. When Oliver Cromwell and his Puritan forces took over England in 1645, they vowed to rid English of decadence, and as part of their effort, they outlawed Christmas. Later, by popular demand, Charles II was restored to the throne, and with him came the return of the popular holiday. A lot of people are kind of surprised also to learn that Christmas was not a popular holiday in early America. The Pilgrims, the English separatists that came to America in like 1620, they were well aware of the chaotic behavior associated with Christmas back in Europe. From like 1659 to 1681, the celebration of Christmas was actually outlawed in Boston. Anyone exhibiting the Christmas spirit was fined 5 shillings. Even Congress was in session on December 25th in 1789, the first Christmas under America's new Constitution. Christmas wasn't even declared a federal holiday, until June 26, 1870. It wasn't until a lot later when you had a lot more corporate advertising from companies like Coca-Cola and these popular poems came out like the night before Christmas. These things had a huge influence on the tone of Christmas in modern America. Christmas today in America has become centered on materialism, really, where the main focal point of the holiday is on fulfilling, the dream of more stuff. Many argue that this is not the case. However, one needs only to measure the levels of enthusiasm expressed in children, for the Christmas's different components. I mean, all you have to do is go ask a child on Christmas what he's so excited about, and you'll quickly learn that his glowing eyes are all about the Nintendo Wii or the new Tickle Me Elmo. Whatever kids may be trained to say by their parents or pastors, this is the real fruit, the real proof of the pudding, watching their enthusiasm.